Hey, Josh.
Hey, James.
What are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to do a pre-release for Strixhaven, the new Magic the Gathering set.
What shop are we going to?
Well, we're going to be doing it here because we're in a global pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm sure you can't wait to get back to playing pre-releases in the stores, though.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to go back to overpriced drinks, screaming children, people stalling their turns, petty squabbles over booster packs, people not wearing deodorant, rounds that always go over time, not being able to drink, people with booby anime stuff.
Well, all those sound pretty important. But we are going to be playing Strixhaven, which has different pre-release packs based on the different colleges.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different cool colleges. I'm personally really excited for Witherbloom.
Oh, the green-black one?
Yeah, I really like graveyard-based strategies, and the life gain is a really interesting twist.
Well, James, today I'm going to be playing Witherbloom. Here's Prismari.
What?
It's red and blue. Also, we have a bit of a twist since we get to play at home. So the rules are simple. We both have an alcoholic beverage, and for each 5 life that we lose, you have to drink down to that section of your cup. And if you lose all of your life, then you have to finish it. And then, the loser of 2 out of the 3 games has to drink the death cup. Are you ready?
I guess.
Okay.
All right, Josh. So, we finished. Why don't you talk about what you ended up with?
Sure. So I opened up the Witherbloom pack. The Witherbloom pack.
Witherbloom.
The Witherbloom pack. The Witherbloom pack, which is black and green. And I didn't get that many exciting things in that color combination, so I splashed a little blue for a little Quandrix magic. And now this is the 2 colleges working together in order to defeat James. On that topic, probably the coolest card I opened was this full art Tanazir Quandrix, which besides being an auto-include in my Animar Commander deck, I don't have any other synergies with in my limited deck, so I'm hoping a 4/4 flying trample man does the trick, especially with a little early game help from some low drops, so I can get James's life down early and he has to drink. I have some other synergies that I don't know whether or not they're going to work with lessons, and we'll have to find out.
I ended up with quite a lot of lessons too, like 7 lessons. So I'm very interested to see how that's going to affect the way these games play out.
James, go ahead and tell us about your bad deck.
I got another lesson for you. Lesson in pain. So I stuck with Prismari, and like Josh, I had to splash a 3rd color. I ended up adding in white because that was the best removal, and as well as the best bombs, I ended up opening up 2 relic slots. So hopefully I can threaten the board with these and just control in the meanwhile. What are you doing?
It's a sloth.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, 911. I think my roommate is having a stroke.
A stroke of good luck.
Please send a SWAT team. While I was, putting my cards together, I tended to follow the BREAD acronym for constructing my deck. BREAD stands for, just in case you don't know, Bomb, Removal, Evasion, Aggro, and Dreg. So a bomb is basically a big beady creature that you can put down and threaten your opponent with. Removal is anything that will destroy a creature, destroy something that you don't want to be on the battlefield otherwise. Evasion are any kind of creature with flying, unblockable, island lock, you name it, something that the opponent has a tough time blocking. And aggro creatures are obviously low-cost, efficient creatures that you can put in early into the game and put pressure onto your enemy with. And dregs are the things you have to add to the deck to round it out at the very end, which, if you're lucky like me, you don't have to really add any dregs.
My deck is all dregs.
What do you mean by that?
I open up only enough playables to make a viable deck, and those are the ones I choose.
So your strategy is to have enough cards in your booster pack that are good.
Yep.
And how is that done?
Hey, you want to get into those games? Magecraft trigger, draw a card.
I haven't even done any damage to you.
I know. And then I go and get basic land and put it in, then I gain 2 life. Get the swamp. Pass turn.
Alright, let's go.
No blocks.
Second thing. Frost Trickster. Tap that good down.
Cool.
Sure.
Oh. Forced. Tanzania Contrix.
Ah! You son of a bitch! Dead man, you son of a bitch!
Combat. Block. Okay.
And then I get a treasure turn. Pass turn.
Play swamp. Unwilling Ingredient. Wormhole Serpent.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's it.
First day class, whenever a creature is the battlefield in your control's turn, put a +1/+1 counter and it gets haste on the end of turn.
Okay.
In my introduction to Annihilation.
Ooh.
Then I'm going to sacrifice this, play Return Past Color. So when he enters the battlefield, I can return a spirit, instant or sorcery from my graveyard to my hand.
Okay.
And just to say whenever creature's battlefield control, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah.
Oh. And then Want to return instead of breakthrough.
Cool.
Swing for 5. Or sorry, 7.
I have no way of blocking that, so I will take 7.
Down to 9.
9. Here we go. This is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Simone, Quandrix Prodigy.
Sure.
Pestilent Cauldron. So I can tap it to discard a card to create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. I can pay 1, each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. And I can pay 4 and exile 4 target cards from a single graveyard to draw a card. So basically a little chip damage in them. 4. And pass.
Go to combat.
7 in the air.
Do you have any blockers?
No? Ooh! Is that 9 exactly?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, I've never thought of myself as the villain until just now. Only when I'm playing Commander am I really getting into that villain role. Let me start us off with a forced. Go ahead.
A Lorehold Camp.
Shit, he's fixing his colors already. Goddamn. Island, go ahead.
Island. Go ahead.
Swamp, tap these 3 for an Honor Troll. Vigilance 2/3. If you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1. And it gets +2/+1 as long as you have 25 or more life. That's the turn. In Commander, this is a 3 mana 4/4 Vigilance. I just had to do math. That's why I'm not a Quandrix boy. Man.
I just like to play in the mud. At sorcery speed, draw a card and learn. Alright, I get fracked.
Island. Enter combat, swing for 2.
Take 2.
Tap 4. 4. Mage Hunter.
Ooh.
3/4. Whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose 1 life.
Shit, this is quite a little pickle I'm in here.
Cast 18 instants and sorcery.
Alright, I'll play Campus Guide.
Cool. Search your library for a basic land and put that card on top. I swear I will not sing the effects of every card, but I might.
Only if we're lucky.
Play swamp?
Yeah.
Enter combat.
Yeah.
Swing. Swing.
Yeah. I will cast Sudden Breakthrough on that bitch.
Okay. Can you lose a life, please? And then +2 first strike?
Yeah.
Alright,
So
cool.
kills these.
That's fine. We're getting it out of his hand.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh. Thanks, Josh. I was feeling quite thirsty.
You're welcome. Second main phase. Waterfall Aerialist, flying 3/1 with Ward 2.
Was that a question?
With Ward 2.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
I'm going to cast First Day of Class,
Okay.
and then Fractal Summoning, X = 2.
Okay.
So I get a 3/3. And I learn. That's the real gift. Elemental Summoning.
I'll make a 4/4.
I'll pass the turn.
That seems very good.
Oh no, I won't pass the turn.
It's got haste.
Yeah, it's haste. So let's go to the red. Gotcha. Want to trade?
Let's trade.
All right.
Play Forest. Enter combat. Swing for 2.
Take 2.
I'm gonna tap 5 for a Bayou Groff. I'm adding the 3 because I'm not sacrificing a creature, so it's a 5/4. I will pass the turn.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Pass the turn.
All right. Let's enter combat.
Okay.
I'm gonna swing the Bayou Groff at you.
I feel like there's a trick coming, but I'll block.
All right, cool. No effects.
Whoa! Called your bluff?
I wasn't bluffing. I'm trying to get that 4/4 off the battlefield.
Oh. You had a 5/4.
But now I have a 1/1 IBAT.
Oh, you showed me.
And 3. Strixhaven Stadium.
All right, that's back.
And I will pass the turn to you.
Pass the turn.
At the end of your turn, I'm going to tap this for 1 and do nothing with it.
Fantastic.
Enter combat.
Okay.
Swing, swing.
I'll take 3.
Cool. That gives me 3 Strixhaven Stadium points. I play the Quandrix Apprentice. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, look at the top 2 cards of your library, and then say, hey, is that a land? Cool, alright, pass the turn.
7.
I don't like where this is going.
I'm gonna cast Culmination of Studies, X equals 5.
Okay.
Let's see what we hit.
What does that do?
Oh. Alright, you're gonna take 3. I'll
Okay.
get 2 tokens. Alright,
Hey, cool spell, man.
thanks. Just pass it.
At the end of your turn, tap that for a thing. I'll play a Witherbloom Campus. Enter combat, swing for 3.
Take 3.
Okay.
Can't really do much.
Pass turn.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna play multiple choice. X equals 4.
Okay.
So, I'm going to create a 4/4 blue elemental. I may choose a player. They return a creature they control to its owner's hand. Return a creature you control to your owner's hand. And then I'll scry one.
I witch? No, I like that attacking. Quandrix guy. Quandrix man.
I'll draw this. Look at this! I'm back, baby! Alright, I'll play a Mountain. Tap 2. Prismari Pledge.
Hey, everybody, it's Quandrix Apprentice.
Whoa!
They swap.
Great.
I'm gonna pass the turn.
Alright.
Not to lessen the experience.
Oh, I get it. You're very funny, Josh.
You're a very funny man.
+1/+1 counter enter a creature and learn.
James, how do you have so many cards?
Trigger. I don't know, man. It's because of all these X babies. I'm gonna go with the Introduction to Annihilation.
Okay.
It's back into my hand, and then Lamo.
Okay. I do get to draw a card, right?
You do, and that's exiled.
Cool.
All right, let's go to combat.
Do it. I dare you. I bet you won't.
But I am literally doing it.
I bet you won't do it.
I said.
Block and block.
All right, so we'll trade.
Yep.
Then take 3
Cool.
and get your lesson.
Puts me to
There's
14. The lesson I'm going to choose is Inkling Summoning.
Oh, okay, not bad.
Now I do lose 1 here.
Okay.
Cool. And then I guess it's time to drink.
You know what I like about this format? Even when I'm getting the shit kicked out of me, it's kind of exciting because I get to drink.
Actually, tap this for a mana. Inkling Summoning. Tanzir Quandrix. And then I'll pass the turn.
All right, in response, I'm going to sack these 2 treasure tokens and scry.
Cool.
I'll leave that.
Okay.
Okay, start my turn. All right, pay 3 mana, Frost Trickster. We'll tap down your dude.
All right.
Go to red.
I'll take 4.
Okay.
James, how are you getting the perfect amounts every time?
It's because I'm a blue mage. I calculate everything.
You're not OAD? Only all playables or whatever it was? Draw a card. Well, I guess I'll just die.
Good game.
Oh,
James, go ahead and tell us about your bad deck.
Should I go first? I'm gonna go first.
okay.
Okay, that's kind of. Now you have to pay the dues. So Death Cup is yours.
Well, luckily, we have a little something here to wash it down with.
I am not envious to be you right now.
Ooh.
How's it taste?
It tastes like loss. It tastes like I didn't win.
Good.
Here we go.
Drink it. Drink it all up.
Also has an aftertaste of comeuppance. Oh, and layers.
Does it taste like some kind of tapped out blocker?
It tastes like bad trades.
It smells like good X equals 5 spells over here.
Ugh. Don't get me started.
I had a little bit earlier. Just a little sippy sip. It was not good.
It's not good. But we got a little bit left to go.
Drink your medicine.
The poison for Cusco.
Cusco's poison.
The poison is specifically designed for Cusco.
Well done. Do you want to go first or second?
Well, considering I lost the most games, I guess I'll go first. My deck did a little bit of what I thought it would do. I was very impressed by some cards and under impressed by some other cards. Sometimes, I think a couple of times I hit a couple of pockets of lands. And I think with more games, maybe it would have been a little more even, but that game too was very
Right.
Draw a bunch of lands. But
Yeah.
I'd say the overperformers, Bayou Groff. Who doesn't love a 2-mana 5/4 that in the right deck also gains you life if you sacrifice a pest to it?
That was really intimidating to play up against.
Pestilence Cauldron, turn all your lands into pests, and then occasionally draw a card. The mill effect doesn't seem like it'd be that great in a limited environment unless you are gaining a lot of life, which I was not. I was actually losing quite a bit. And then one thing that I think we both noticed is that flyers, very important. The board gets gummed up pretty quickly, and so having something like Wormhole Serpent, which gives something unblockable, like for example, Bayou Groff, lets you get through for some hits. Because there's a lot of token creation.
A lot of tokens. There's a lot of just like stall kind of board states where there's not really any favorable trades, and you're just kind of sitting there staring at each other awkwardly.
I guess I'll trade this Quandrix Dragon.
I guess I'll just sit here and pass the
I
turn.
guess I'll just die. So having things that can get through the stalled board state is nice. I do like a lot of the sorceries that create cards or create creatures just to activate Mintcraft more, but I think that leads to more gummed up board states. I will say that Strixhaven Stadium, very tough to win with the win clause unless you're going extremely wide. So just keep that in mind. But for a 3-mana, I don't think it's that necessary outside of that as just a mana rock because it only produces colorless mana. I will, however, be putting it into Vornenklex because you double the counters.
Oh, yeah. And doubling back to the land pockets that you were hitting, let's talk about your deck construction. How many lands were you running?
I ran 17.
And you were in 3 colors. How
I was in
many?
3 colors, yeah.
How many of the 2-color lands did you have?
I only had 2, and they were only black and green. So the first game I did stumble a bit on color fixing, but I was able to get that lesson that lets you go look for a basic land. But I felt like doing that early in the game cost me enough tempo for it to be problematic, and the 2 life that you gain wasn't enough. And I probably should have grabbed something that created a creature like Inkling Summonings instead.
And speaking of the lessons, how did you feel the lessons affected the Witherbloom deck?
I didn't actually have that many learn cards, and I would have really liked to have more. I think the 2-mana create a 1/1 pest and also learn cards probably pretty good. 2-mana 1/1 isn't great, but the ability to draw a card off of that. But I only had like 1 of those, and then there were very few other options to learn except for like the IBAT. Yeah. So having that was good as just sort of a 1-mana 1/1 flyer, which I know you're not supposed to take, but the fact that when it dies you get to learn, but that also relies on your opponents blocking it, basically, or you leaving it back to block in order to learn, which wasn't the most effective way of doing it.
And I don't know, it's kind of a pretty situational card. Like when I was sitting across the table from it, I just didn't want to attack into it and let you block with it because I didn't want to give you a lesson.
Yeah. But I also really wanted to get that chip damage in, so it's like...
And at the same time, I, again, didn't want to block it, so I just kind of let you hit me for 1 damage, so it was more or less unblockable because I didn't want to let you have any of your lessons.
Yeah, because it's basic. It reads as 1 mana, 1/1. When it dies, draw a card. Which effectively, even if you don't have a lesson, you discard a card and draw a card. So, yeah. I would have liked to have more. I feel like having more learn cards is very effective because you had a lot of learn cards.
Yeah, I think I had 4 or 5 different cards with learn on it.
Yeah, and that was great because you just like. Because you're effectively, I mean, you're drawing a card whenever you cast from this. It's basically cantripping, which is great.
And it's even more than just cantripping. When you cantrip, you might get a land, but this is just gas. You know?
All killer, no filler.
Mm-hmm.
And you get exactly what you need for the situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering, for my pool, I had like 5 or 6 different lessons that I could play from. One of which was exile target problem. So,
and I think we both did the thing where we got it and then realized we had 4 mana instead of 5. So just before you make that decision, also it might be because we were drinking, but double check the amount of mana that you have available.
It could also be that we're really bad at math.
I'm terrible at math. That's why my Chondrix.
Quandrix?
My Quandrix.
Feeling that death cup?
Oh, the death cup. My Quandrix splash may not have done me as much good because I'm so bad at math.
Yeah, Quandrix surprisingly not very good in the format. I pretty much was able to deal with him every time.
I'm not going to say that. If you have +1/+1 counter synergies, especially with the fractals, you can double the amount of +1/+1 counters on a fractal or any other creature that has +1/+1 counters. And I never really got a chance to abuse it, but whenever he attacks, you can use his base power and toughness as the rest of your creature's base power and toughness.
Ah, okay.
So if you have Inklings in the air, they would be 4/4s. If you have Pests on the ground, 4/4s. And that's even without buffing him at all. Like, that's everything just becomes a 4/4, which in sealed is pretty good. I just never got him out with a wide enough board state where I can swing in with 4/4s and have that advantage. He does also have trample.
Didn't really come in handy in our games.
Didn't come in handy because you had flyers to block him.
Yeah.
But I did, if you had less flyers and I had the stadium at 10 things, then he could have got through for damage. But you got it. I don't know. I didn't have the synergy. I thought a 4/4 flyer would be good, but there are other flyers in the format that maybe work a little bit better.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, God, he's so cool.
So how about the showcase cards that you opened up?
I opened up some off-color showcases. I wasn't incredibly impressed with the showcases that I got because I feel like, sure, I got Negate and that came in handy a couple of times, but there's also other counter spells in the format. I got Adventurous Impulse, which drew me 3 lands, or it revealed 3 lands, so I guess it broke up a pocket. So I think your mileage will vary when it comes to these showcase cards. If you get like just a bomb, then there you go. But just given the rarity odds, I think the rarest one I picked up in my sealed pool was Swords to Plowshares.
And you're not even running in white, so it didn't help you out.
Yeah. So I wouldn't rely on them, but if you got them, I'm flaunt them, I guess. I think Approach of the Second Sun is probably going to be really good in this format, but that is a mythic rare showcase one. That also looks really cool. I mean, the art looks great. I'm definitely going to put that Swords to Plowshares somewhere, but in the sealed pool, it didn't help me out too much.
Okay. Well, good to know.
Did you run any showcase?
I had a showcase that I never got to play in the form of an Infuriate. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. Pardon me. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. I didn't even have the Death Cup. So, Sudden Breakthrough, one of my highlight cards, very good. It's got two things in one. It gives +2/+0 and first strike, so you can use it as a trick to trade up creatures, and it creates a treasure token which you can then use to ramp on your next turn. I got a lot of good value out of this, and I guess just the psychological pressure, because I knew you didn't like that I had it, and it kind of stressed you, and you were happy to see it gone from my hand whenever I did play it.
Yeah, it's like, get it out of there.
Yeah.
I think the 2-color lands that let you scry got a little poo-pooed when they got released. But in the games that we played, they came in very handy.
The scry ability was super clutch, especially in the endgame when you're like, I don't want to draw another land. I'm just going to scry right now, get rid of it.
It's very expensive to do, but in a board stall, I mean, you probably have the mana to do it.
And not that our sealed experience was completely indicative of the format.
No, it's a very small sample size.
But we did run into quite a lot of board stalls, and that scry ability really just helped us pull through.
Helped you pull through.
Sorry. Helped me pull through.
I could have scried more. But I was a fool.
So let me just talk about some of my other winners other than sudden breakthrough. So I also had Frost Trickster, a 2/2 flyer that tapped down a target creature and kept it tapped for a turn. As Josh touched on, and as we saw in the gameplay footage, very helpful to just tap down a big blocker and get through and finish off the game.
That probably saved a game too, because you tapped down Quandrix.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I was able to keep them tapped down, which didn't let you attack with them, didn't let you pump up your team. It was really great. Also, multiple choice. Really good for X = 4.
Oh.
Draw a card, make a 4/4, unsummon a creature, albeit you don't get to choose the creature. If your opponent isn't going very wide, it's still going to help you out.
Yeah, no, that's great.
The one downside I would say is, I guess, as the player, you're going to be really tempted to not play it for X = anything less than 4, just because, the value is there.
The value.
I got lucky. I got 2 multiple choices in my pool. Honestly, at the beginning of this video, I didn't even bother mentioning it. It was surprisingly very good. I didn't think it would be worth too much mentioning. I didn't think it would be very good, but it came in really clutch in endgame. Same thing with Culmination of Studies. I kind of softballed this card. I held it in my hand. I didn't really want to cast it because I didn't want to exile the top couple cards of my library. And then I ran into a situation where I just kept drawing land, so I finally said, fuck it. And then one of the last cards that I want to talk about was my Underperformer First Day of Class. This was a card that I was hoping I would be able to get big value off of by playing a bunch of creatures. It could just be that I was in the wrong colors. This doesn't belong in a control deck. It belongs in a wide red-white strategy. I didn't really get to take advantage of it very often. And when I did force myself to take advantage of it, you'll see probably in the first game when I tried to, take advantage of it, really it didn't help too much. And I just wanted the lesson.
That just made your fractal slightly bigger.
Yeah, it changed my fractal from being a 2/2 to being a 3/3.
Yeah.
And I got a lesson. And that was really what I wanted, was the lesson. So what I probably could have done is play this a lot sooner, played my fractal just as a 3/3 normally without casting this and gotten my lesson earlier.
Yeah. What's the mana cost on that?
This cost 1 colorless and 1 red.
So I can see that being used in like a go wide kind of deck, but there's not a great amount of red and white 1/1s if memory serves.
Yeah.
So I guess 2/2. So if you have like 6, I guess playing it on turn 6 wouldn't be that great.
Well, I mean, it feels like lessons are always good. No matter where you are in the game, because at the end of the game, I was always grabbing that exile target creature. At the beginning of the game, I was grabbing, create a token.
You're like, I'll let you draw a card after I exile your thing because you're gonna die this turn. It doesn't matter.
I don't give a
shit. The introduction to Annihilation. I think that is definitely a lesson that you want to have opened.
Yeah, that was great. I'm totally happy to get rid of your bomb and let you draw a land off the top of your deck, which is most cases what it was.
And half the time when you cast it, it's game over anyway, in my experience. Not necessarily in this particular round, but like I did have a chance to play a couple of pre-release packs before as well. Well, hey, from those of us here at Around the Table,
it's been real.
It's been fun.
It's been.
Hey, thanks for sticking with the two bad boys of magic
You're pretty bad.
at magic. We'll see you next time. Around the table. Oh, what in my nose? Oh, Jesus. Oh, this is terrible.
Josh, you weren't supposed to chug it.
Oh, God. Four different schools.
4 different schools at the same time. We didn't get a chance to play with black-white.
Which is... That's mine. I'm a silver quill.
Oh, is that so?
I mean, you wouldn't know it looking at me because I've been drinking, but I know the words.
You do know words.
I do know words. No, James, vouch for me.